now it's going. Good to go.
Are you sure?
I'm sure. I am absolutely sure that it is doing the things that are important with the podcasty stuff.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, finally, after how long has it been since we did episode 3?
Like 2-3 weeks at the very least.
Okay,
At the
I was
very
about to say,
least.
at the very least. That makes sense, because I was thinking more like a month, but
That's what I mean. At the very least, I don't know.
yeah.
It probably could be a month for all I know.
It feels like a month, but we finally got another episode going. Yeah, a lot of stuff has happened. We've been trying, for those who may have been wondering why we haven't been on for as long, we've been trying to get, guests for each of these podcasts where we do each of the other professions and whatnot, and it hasn't worked out so well. So we're going to kind of drop the whole guest thing because it takes too much time. It's too hard to find people. We're just going to go with like a whole. We're rolling with. We'll just kind of play the classes, try them out, give our impressions and whatnot, and just give our feedback on it. And we'll put the disclaimer out there: we are not experts on these professions, but
I am.
Oh, I'm sure, Mr. Double Pistol Unload, man.
It works.
It works. Arken turret coming to a patch near you.
You haven't seen the damage, have you?
No, I think I have. I think I have on your stream.
Yeah, but no one is, because no one focuses me. It's so bad.
Like, oh, it's just a thief. He'll be fine. Pistols. But no. But yeah. So we're finally doing another episode, and here's hoping with the whole change in how we do the whole guest thing, we'll be able to get these out a bit more often. So, how you been, Arken?
Yeah, same old stuff. Just relaxing, playing the game as it is, running into the funnest specs in the world from people I've never heard of. Yeah, that's always fun. How about you?
I'm doing good. I was sick the past weekend, but otherwise, yeah, overall doing good, getting better.
Good. Yeah, I know you were out for a little bit.
Yeah, I got hit by either allergies or the cold or something, so it's it wasn't fun. But I'm doing well now. I should probably turn on there. Ignore that little misstep. But either way, well, like I'm sitting here and there's nothing actually moving on the stream. It's just a still of the character select. Where I had paused the video for the backdrop. But
right.
Anyway, yeah, I'm doing good. I am also running into the oh-so-fun builds that you had mentioned. Yeah, hating them. I found out just how amazing Pistol Whip Thief is to fight.
Yeah, that it's essentially a spammable Blurred Frenzy.
Yeah.
Except it does more damage than Blurred Frenzy.
Yep. And it doesn't have a daze or stun in there.
No, there's a stun.
Oh, okay. So
but
yeah.
But it's not chained together as it used to be. Like you used to be able to chain it together.
Yeah.
But it's a stun. But you can move afterwards and get out of the pistol whip. But it's still pretty ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I'm like, I can't kill this. Oh wow, I'm actually dying. Uh-oh. But yeah, this is the Thief episode. But first, we're going to talk about the feature patch a bit because that's kind of big news.
Oh, dude, are you kidding me?
Yeah,
oh, my goodness.
That's kind of something we can't just ignore and go on and do Thief stuff. So I guess we'll go with Arken, for you. What is the highlight so far of the feature patch? Like, what of the big features are you looking forward to the most?
Well, they just released the mega servers today. You heard about that, right?
Yep, read that at work.
That looks pretty cool. That's good for more social interaction, and I'm fine with that. I have no issue.
Yeah.
The less overflows, the better. I don't know. The one I'm looking forward towards the most, I honestly don't know, only because it seems like every single one of these is just quality of life stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm more of an SPVPer. I mean, I have nothing against quality of life stuff. It's just, nothing really hits me.
What about the
What's up?
I was gonna say, what about the reward tracks?
Oh, well, that's cool and all, but I mean, I've done my fair share of PvE, so I actually already own most of those sets as it is. So I mean, that's nice for those who don't really play PvE, and that's fine. I have no issue with that. But for me, I just like here. Let me see if I can bring up the list. 1 second.
All right. More prepared than
Actually,
I am.
do you have the list on you?
I could pull it up real quick.
Yeah, you might be able to be faster. I'm curious because again, I haven't looked at the blogs in a while, and I'm trying to figure out like what exactly what else came out. I know the mega servers and a couple other things with the tracking of rewards, which is nice. I can't figure anything else out. You know what I mean?
I need to be very careful about my my keystrokes because they're very loud. I know how loud it can be in this this microphone.
That's fine. Whatever. Actually, you know what? There is one thing I'm looking forward to the most: the wardrobe. Holy crap! It is essentially a mobile PvP locker. That is amazing. That's what I'm looking forward to the most. Absolutely. Oh my god.
All right. Well, it sounds like you and I are kind of on the same page because the wardrobe that's a big one for me too. I know I don't change my character's look a lot, but just that ability to just that option and how convenient it's going to be, and the fact that there's just a lot of stuff that'll come out of having the wardrobe there. You'll be able to preview looks. You'll be able to. It'll have more incentive to actually go out and get skins. It'll get people intrigued in more content. It'll get people playing in more areas of the game. It's going to be a lot handier than our current system. It's just
I have no issue.
Yeah, I don't definitely have any issues with that. Let's see. So I've got a list of the big things for the feature patch up right here. We've got, let's see, there's the traits thing, the ferocity change, the wardrobe, the dyes, the social changes like with the last online for the guild. You've got the account bound legendaries and ascended armor and world XP, and
that's a good one too. The account bound.
Yeah,
that's really nice. Okay.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that one too. And then like you said, the mega server. If there's a specific one in there, I can click into it. I've just got kind of a general list up right here.
No, that was the big one for me, the wardrobe. Honestly, that's the biggest one I'm looking forward to. Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm definitely with you. I'm definitely stoked for the wardrobe. To me the reward tracks are a big deal because they will incentivize someone who has. I've done a little more than dabble in SPVP, but I can't say I've spent as much time there as say World of World. And I mean, granted, World of World's rewards aren't really all that important to me either. But it's just the way they've set up the reward system in this feature patch for SPVP. It's to me it's really cool. It gives people a lot more incentive to do SPVP other than just fighting for the sake of fighting or for rank. Like you've got the fact that you can get they're essentially keeping what they had before, which was you could level up in SPVP getting the tomes. That'll still be there. But it's done through a more progressive system. Like, you can see your progress a bit more. It's not just a glory number ticking up over and over. You can actually see your progress moving up. And you get charges for the wardrobe. You get, champion loot. You get all sorts of money. It's a really cool system.
Absolutely. Absolutely, dude.
Yeah, other than that, let's see, the compound stuff, like I said, that's another big one. Like, for me, having World XP be account bound, but still being able to slot my individual world skill points or whatever, specialization points or whatever, that's huge because all of my characters can reap the benefits of how much I play my warrior in World of World, but I can specialize them and I can experiment with different bonuses and see which ones I like. Because that's one of the reasons why I haven't spent them on my warrior is because it's kind of the whole buyer's remorse thing. I don't really want to spend it and not be able to take it back.
Right, absolutely.
But with all my characters having that many points, I can mess around. I can make my Necro a supply master, and I can give my elemental supplied fortitude and all that fun stuff. And try stuff out on other characters that aren't my warrior, and then when I finally decide I want to do something with my warrior, I I kind of have an idea of how things work.
Hmm. That's the thing, is that a lot of these things I looked at the beginning, they should have been account bound, and I'm glad they're actually getting to be that way. Like the wallet, when that was introduced, that was awesome. I wasn't really expecting the legendaries or the ascended weapons. That's kind of cool too. I was definitely expecting the world PvP experience to be account bound, so that's great. So absolutely.
Yeah, it's just it's not just the fact that these are all really nice quality of life things, but it's all things that like they've listened and they've taken feedback on, and now they're implementing it, and they're things that I don't really see many people having much issue with. I've seen a few people say, "Hey, oh, I don't like this because of this," and yada yada. But usually they're fairly small gripes, and overall, the reaction to this feature patch is overwhelmingly positive.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
Absolutely. And we still have 2 more blogs to go.
I
Holy
know,
crap.
right?
So
Like,
we know for a fact that tomorrow and the next day they're not going to be about the mega server. We just went over that.
yeah,
It's going to be separate stuff.
yeah,
So, oh god.
yeah.
I'm
I
curious
can't.
what it is.
I know. I'm chomping at the bit too. I want to know what those are.
Dude, I want housing. I know that's not going to be there, but I've been chomping at that. Oh my god.
Yeah,
I want
housing
it
would
so
not be a bad idea. You could like it would be a great way to show off achievements and whatnot. Like, hey guys, come check out like the giant jungle worm head that I have mounted on my hearth wall
See?
or whatever.
Yeah. Absolutely. Oh, dude, housing is amazing. I honestly think people want that so badly. Guild housing too. It's just
Yeah. Like people I know a lot of people who are like, "Oh, guild housing, that's RP stuff." Blah blah. It's like, well, yes, it can be used for RP, but it can also be used as a way to show how badass you are by just having physical representations of your achievements, not just the little, check mark on a little number pane. It's you can actually see cool things that you can stick places that people can tour and whatnot.
Have you seen I think the best example of that? EverQuest 2 had the best housing system I've ever seen. And guild housing. It was
I'm not familiar
ridiculous.
with it.
If you just YouTube, like just do like EverQuest 2 guild housing, there's 3 tiers, like because you could upgrade it to tier 3 to where it's huge. And you can put so much shit in there, ranging from like crafting stations to trophies you got from raids. It was ridiculous. It was so ridiculous that on my old PC I couldn't go into one of these zones. I mean, there are instances obviously at one of these zones because there were so many particle effects that my computer would crash. So it's how ridiculous it was. So if you if you YouTube that, you're gonna find some ridiculous guild houses that are probably still there too.
Oh, I bet. I mean, EQ2 is still going, so yeah, I would not be surprised if they were still there.
That's probably not gonna happen. I don't think it's gonna happen with this feature patch.
No, you never know. Again, we've still got the 2 blog posts coming up, so they could throw just something out of left field. But yeah, I definitely see it also being a ways out too. But we don't know. We'll see. But yeah, just this patch in general, and not only is it overwhelmingly positive as far as the benefits and the reaction to it, but the fact that there are so many people who have a positive outlook on it and positive reaction to it, that helps kind of ease some of the animosity that it's kind of like it's not prevalent in the games community, but you have a lot of very cynical people, a lot of very jaded people who have.
I'm one of them.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll be honest with you.
I was about to say, like yourself, I know a lot of people. Not just you, but like
You're such an asshole.
Hey, you put it out on your stream. I can do that. But like you just have a lot of very embittered people, justifyingly like your embitterment is justified. Like I can completely understand and sympathize in some cases why people are mad. But just the fact that even those people they're just reacting positively to a lot of the changes. It's like, this is cool. It's bringing the community closer together and it's giving more people a reason to stick around and just have fun with what is an awesome game. Yes, it has flaws, but
what game doesn't?
Yeah, exactly. And it's just, the more positive a game's community is overall, the better it is for everyone involved. That's how I look at it. I mean,
Absolutely.
it's you always want criticism. You always want to be able to criticize whatever it is. You always want to have the side of the community that can criticize things, but in a constructive way, and hopefully they're also enjoying the entire package overall while still being able to objectively point out, hey, this is a problem, or hey, you might want to take a look at this. That's the more of that you can have, the better.
Oh, absolutely. What I think they should eventually do, and I don't know if this is actually going to happen, like public test rooms would be nice. I think that would definitely help with quite a few issues.
Yeah, PTRs
I mean,
would not be a bad idea.
Yeah, I don't see that being a huge expenditure, so I'm not too sure why it hasn't happened yet. I'm sure they have their reasons, and that's understandable, but maybe sometime in the near future we'll have some way to do it, because I'd love to go on that and just help, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's up in the air, I suppose.
Yeah, we'll see. Like, with honestly how ANET is, I wouldn't be surprised if they opened one up in the future. It could just be a tech limitation for now. Or they
Possibly,
have or they have like right now they can't do it because they have so many secret things like giving people access to beta files would like spoil a whole bunch of extra stuff or something. But maybe
Do you mean data mining?
well, data mining, but they'd still be able to like it would be data mining on steroids because not only would they have access to the stuff that's in the live beta or the live client, but they would also have access to the data files that they downloaded to do on the PTR, which is the next batch of data. Like,
Right.
they would have it'd basically be data mining on steroids. So, like that, like right now, I could see ANET being a bit hesitant, but I think in the future, like if they became more transparent with how they handled information or whatever, something changed where it wasn't that big of a deal. I could see them doing it. I could very easily see them throwing out a PTR and whatnot, or maybe have specific things like they wouldn't throw the entire patch in there. They would just throw like the balance changes or the game mode changes or stuff like that. Stuff that isn't spoiler and is needed for testing. They could always just parse out the data like that too. So
Yeah, that would be fine. Absolutely.
yeah,
I just think again because you are essentially getting free testing done on the community side. Now, obviously, all of it's not going to be balanced testing. I'm sure you're going to have quite a few jaded people out there, but I mean, it's still something to consider.
Yeah.
Especially when you involve your community.
Yeah, and the more community involvement, that improves transparency, which improves just overall collaboration and just willingness to cooperate, I guess is another way to put it. Like, people will not mind you as people will. I don't know how I'm trying to phrase this. Basically, a lot of the hate ANET gets now wouldn't be there because a lot of the source of where that hate is wouldn't be there because people could be like, it would be a lot more transparent. People could communicate, hey, these are issues, ANET could see those. It's like, hey, gotcha, we'll fix it, or we'll think about it, or whatever. Just
right.
I don't know, just that confidence that the community would have that ANET is like directly listening. I mean, with the I almost bit my tongue. With the with the CDIs and then the results that are coming of those CDIs with this feature patch, it seems like the opinion is improving. Like people are realizing, hey, ANET actually is listening to us. They're not just hiding behind the forums. They are taking our ideas and rolling with them if they're good. That type of thing. Like, it's improving, but then if you throw in like a PTR, that's like almost direct interface. In a lot of cases, it is direct interface with ANET, and having that transparency there would help further improve just kind of, I guess, developer community relations, which is always a good thing to have.
Absolutely.
You want people to like a game. You want people to like you, and I would assume
I want people to like me too.
I want friends. But yeah, I'm absolutely stoked for the feature patch.
Oh, absolutely. I cannot wait. Oh, something. Because again, we haven't had a balance patch in like 4 months.
Yeah.
That's a long time, dude.
Oh, that reminds me of something.
What's that?
Remember how last year I was talking about how I was thinking that this year ANET would balance a lot more, or would start to balance more aggressively? Well,
yeah.
Okay, so far we haven't had anything, like, it has been more frequent updates or anything like that, but again, this is the first one of the year. Related to that, the fact that, okay, you had, like, you had the 8% nerf on Healing Signet, you had I'm specifically looking at the Warrior changes.
Right.
The ones that they initially announced, like the 8% Healing Signet nerf, the pin down, cast time, and animation change, like, we knew those were coming. And I'm like, okay, yeah, these will help tune down warriors in areas that were over-tuned in. But I was with a lot of other people who was like, yeah, it'll help, but it's not going to be enough. Then they did the ready up where they're like, hey, we've got a few more balance changes. And right then and there, like, okay, we know that Hambo is an issue, we know that Decap Energy is an issue, and we know that Pistol Whip Thief is an issue. And I'm like, did you just call out the 3 things that people have the biggest issue with?
Yeah.
And I'm like, A-Net, you're listening. Wow.
Yes, you are.
And
you did
then
a couple things to that. I'm like, okay, this is good.
Yeah,
Pin
and then
down, finally, pin down getting nerfed. I'm like, holy crap. Do you have any idea how many times I've lost to a warrior only because of pin down?
yeah,
Just because of that, because I'm like, great, I'm stuck for almost 4 seconds. I don't have enough Condi removal to remove both. I'm dead.
yeah. Well, it's not just that. Like after they addressed that, hey guys, we know that these builds are an issue. Here's what we're doing to them, and then they went and talked about they're nerfing Arcing Arrow.
That thing hits way too hard for such a short CD.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my god.
Like I knew that Arcing Shot was another ability in there that was like causing a lot of benefit for the Hambo build. I'm like, wow, they're actually paying attention to that too. Okay, and then to take it a step further, another one that they hit it in a place that I wasn't expecting them to, but it's perfectly warranted, and I'm perfectly willing to take the nerf that goes along with it. They went to the Merciless Hammer trait, and they nerfed that by 5% too. I'm like, holy shit, they know what they're doing in this case. And I'm like,
it seems like they're chipping away, which I guess is a good thing. You know, it can definitely help a little bit.
I mean, they're sticking with their want to shave things, but they're shaving in a lot of places, which is good because it's not just like, oh, Healing Signet is a problem, let's cut it in half and then that's it. Like no, you can't. It's taking what a lot of people have been saying before and kind of the issue that I had with their balance, and it's actually fixing it. Like before, it was pendulum swings, like, oh, this is
of course.
like,
oh my
we know this is an issue. Okay, chop it, gigantic change, Band-Aid, and then the pendulum swings all the way across. This is, hey, shave it down in several different places that all contribute to it. And yeah, each change by itself may not seem like much, but their combined total will actually bring it
help
down.
A little bit, yeah,
it'll help, and it'll do it in a way that's a lot easier to fine tune.
I think with when they start doing this instead of these big swing changes, which they've been known to do in the past, is now that they're trying to shave these down, they have to do it more frequently. That's the thing. Is that's how I look at it. Do you agree?
Yeah. Sorry,
It has to happen more frequently.
Yeah, and all doing the shaving method, that almost forces them to do it more frequently and more aggressively, because with that ability to shave things down and kind of fine tune and tweak things, that means they're going to have to do a lot more tweaking, because
of course, absolutely,
one little bit isn't going to change a lot, but you can change it a little more, and you can just turn the dial a little more each time. It can change all the knobs and all the dials at the same time, just a little bit.
That's how it should have been. Yeah. That's how it should be. Little shaves, but more frequently. So that's why I'm expecting, or hopefully expecting, that while these are only little changes here, that they're happening more frequently to fine tune it, and then it won't take freaking 4 months to get it somewhat right. You know what I mean? Because that's how long it's been taking, and that's what bothers me the most, is that it's taking so long, because you've been having these sweeping changes that do so much or so little. This is fine, and I'm okay with that, but I'm just hoping they ramp it up. That's what I really want.
Yeah, I have a feeling that they have changed their balance philosophy from, okay, we're going to watch the meta for 6 months, and then we're going to, massively nerf the things that are a big issue.
Yeah.
I think now they're realizing balance is iterative, and you can't iterate once per 6 months. You got to iterate a lot faster. And by having these tweaks go in, that shows that they're willing to shave things And while it remains to be seen, I have a feeling that just this paradigm will kind of force them to be a bit more active with that because they have to tweak things more often. They can
Oh, yes.
they can alter the numbers a bit more and whatnot. And with their platform for pushing out content every 2 weeks or if it's a month or whatever, if they're changing, I don't know. I heard rumors, but assuming they're going on the 2 week schedule that they've been doing previously, and they're going to do that for the next Living World season, being able to do that and then throw in slight tweaks to balance at the same time, it's the perfect vehicle.
Oh, of course. That's what we need. That's proper balancing. I think they're learning instead of doing just these ridiculous sweeping changes to actually listen to this community and balance, carefully, tactfully, but also sort of aggressively. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That would work too.
Yeah. So it remains to be seen how they're gonna change the frequency of their balancing, if they are. I would assume, it seems like ANET is doing a very, very big paradigm shift in a lot of things, for the good, for the better.
Oh, absolutely. That's how it should be, of course. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's like things are changing, and they're going for the better, so I would not be surprised if they start balancing more aggressively, more fine-tuning stuff, and just the game overall will be much better as a result.
Absolutely.
So
it'll take time, but I don't think it will take nearly as much time as it should now because of these small changes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Time will tell, but I'm remaining optimistic, especially after what ANET has shown us this year and is about to put out in, I think, 2 weeks.
Dude, and that's not even all the balance changes. I'm fairly certain there's quite a bit we haven't even seen.
Yeah, that's the thing. I see a lot of people oh, this isn't going to change the meta, blah, 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 blah. It's okay, guys. They put on their PowerPoint when they were doing the write-up bug fixes. And they explicitly said that we're not going to go through all of the bug fixes because we would be here all day. It's to me
that's a lot of shit there, dude.
Yeah, exactly. To me, that's a red flag saying, hey, there's a lot more going into this patch than we expect. And a bug fix, quote, quote, can be anything. They can be, it may not be something like an exploit or the game breaking literally. It could be something like a value is way higher than it should be, or a trait's not actually working. For example, there's one that they said in the ready up, and it's definitely a bug fix. I think it's a warrior trait, a minor that just it wasn't. Oh, it was the endurance on burst usage. That trait wasn't working.
No.
Yeah, that trait is bugged. It's not giving us endurance back when we use burst skills. I think it's in strength or something. But I had messed around with it, and to me it didn't occur that it may have been broken. To me it just it just gives a tiny amount of endurance, whatever. It's supposed to give half of your endurance bar. It's supposed to give you a dodge when you use a burst
free
skill.
dodge?
Yeah.
Okay.
And evidently it wasn't working, and that is a bug fix, and we could see several things like that in this patch where things just weren't working. And that could be huge as far as balance in the meta goes. We don't know. That's the thing that I keep telling people. I'm not saying anything balance-wise until I see the full list of notes. I want to see...
There's going to be a long list, I think.
Oh yeah.
Jeez.
I have a feeling a very large portion of that stream after the patch comes out will be spent going over warrior changes.
Oh, okay. I can't blame you. Honestly, it's been the topic for quite a while, for quite a few months, so I can honestly see that being the case.
Oh yeah. All right. Did you have any last thoughts or anything on the feature patch that you wanted to quick mention before we jump into the thief stuff?
No, I'm glad. I'm just hoping that this will change the meta. You kind of need to have the meta changing consistently, and every 4 months is too slow. So hopefully something will change, shake it up a little bit, make it a little better. We'll see.
Yep, we'll see. I'm of the same mind. Here's hoping. All right, we can jump into thief.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay, so like I said at the start of the stream, but there probably weren't a lot of people hanging out at the time. I'll say it again. We're changing up the way we do the whole class thing, guys. We're not going to try and find guests anymore because it takes too long. It's the reason why we have 3 weeks between podcasts, because we try and find people and schedule things come up and it just doesn't work out, and it sucks overall. So we're not going to do the whole gas thing anymore. I mean, not that we'll never do it again, but we're not going to try and find one for each profession. We're just going to do what we're going to do now is we're just going to say, okay, we've played these classes a bit. We'll play them before whatever our next podcast is. Like, say if the next one's a Mesmer, we'll both do Mesmer stuff, whatever. Or we'll draw from like alts we've played in the past, and we'll just talk about our impressions, talk about what we like, what we don't like. We'll make the very clear disclaimer that we are not experts. We are not experts at the professions we're discussing, but we're just giving our impressions. We're giving, things we like, things we don't like, that type of thing. And we'll try and be as insightful as possible. We're both pretty big in PvP. We both understand general balance issues. Like at least if anything, fighting these professions. So we'll give that type of perspective on things. We won't be able to go in depth like we can respectively with our main professions. That's not going to happen. But we'll still, we'll go over.
We'll do things.
We'll do things. Yes. All right. I guess I'll let you lead off, Arken, because you've been doing a lot of the pistol unload Arken turret on your stream lately.
Yeah, imagine that, right? Well, I guess just from the top, the basis of when playing a thief and how it works for me personally. It's and as much as I hate to say it, and obviously this is how the class was designed. It is essentially the spammy class because that's just how it's designed. You're given a limited resource to allow to spam as many skills as you deem necessary, or what skills you deem necessary. And then again, that resource fills up. It's completely different to what we have now based on cooldowns outside of your utilities and whatnot. The issues that I have with this specific class mechanic is the fact that if it's very difficult to land a burst on a thief who knows what they're doing and has the proper skill set on their weapons, it's very difficult due to possibly the evade spam, that goes along with it. So I'm not a huge fan of that, but also on the flip side, I completely understand that while they're doing this set evade frame spam, they can't do anything offensively. So they're effectively draining their resource.
Yep.
So there is definitely a downside to it. I get that.
Yeah.
I was just never a fan of spammy play. You know what I mean? And that's almost inherently what that class is about. Now, don't get me wrong. If you spam the same skills over and over, you're not going to be nearly as effective as someone who knows what the fuck they're doing. Yeah. Obviously, I understand that. But just again, the premise behind the build is just that. So, yeah. and I'm not a fan. What do you think?
Okay, so the build you're talking about is high evade spam with high spam burst, basically, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with you. It does suck to not be able to hit something that's constantly evading you. I am well acquainted with this with Rangers, especially considering...
Well, they're actually worse in my opinion, but yeah.
Yeah,
that'll be for something else.
They love evading all of my my well-timed stuff. Anyway, but yeah, like I can see why you'd have a gripe with all the evade spam, all the evade frames, and I have indeed fought thieves that cheese the evade, and they're basically doing that. But again, like you said, the downside of that is they're not doing anything offensive. They have a few, like, for example, Shortbow 3. It's an evade that has some offensive capability, but that offense
doesn't do any damage.
Yeah,
really.
It does hardly any damage. It's mainly a cripple. It's a cripple and an evade. So it's they're doing the evade spam, but they're not really doing anything back to you. They're just not dying. And while that's annoying, it's not really any threat. Like when when I'm fighting a thief, I don't really have to worry if they're doing all this fancy dancing around me or evading and whatnot. Yeah, it's irritating that I didn't get my burst off on them, but at the same time, I'm not worried that I'm gonna die, or I'm not cursing out, oh, this is broken, this is overpowered, because they're not doing anything to me. They're just dancing around, and I kind of just sit there. It's like, okay, you gonna fight me, or are you just gonna dance around all day? It's like, it's one of those things where yes, it irritates people, but not to the point where they would say, oh, this is broken, because it's not. It's balanced in that you are trading offense for defense. And to be fair, they need that. They need that type of defense, because hitting a thief, you see their health bar drop.
Oh, of course. Like, oh my god,
Like I believe they are one of the low health pool professions.
Yeah, they are. Ellie, Thief, and Guardian. Oh yeah, absolutely. So
Yep.
when you hit them, you see it.
Yep.
Hmm.
Yep. Like on the video I have up right now, I have my thief, which is in I think full Valkyrie.
What is wrong with your Thief? You have more health than my Guardian does.
That's the
In World
Valkyrie.
versus World, I'm like, what the hell?
That's the Valkyrie armor. That's with full. Just the armor is Valkyrie. The trinkets are Berserker, but even still,
Nice.
it's only about 15k health. That's not a lot of health to
No,
say
it's
my
not.
warrior who's doing 5k crits with a backbreaker. It's they need that defense, and along with the evades, they've got stealth, which that I can see people having more issues with. I know people are a lot more keen to curse out the stealth than the evade spam, because the evade spam, you really only find the spamminess in one or two cheese builds, and they're not really meant to kill you. They're just meant to, irritate you. Stealth.
I actually have to backtrack from that. One of them that actually does do quite a bit of offense, Pistol Whip, is sort of an exception to that.
Yeah, but
That thing is ridiculous. Holy shit.
yeah, but again, Pistol Whip is one of the 3 builds that's being shaved. Luckily,
Yeah.
Like ANET knows it's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like the other type of defense that they have, the other major trait or professional mechanic they have is stealth, and this is the one where I see people getting a bit more up in arms and starting to claim balance issues with, because unlike evades where you're trading offense for defense, stealth you're actually gaining both defense and more offensive in the case of the thief, because they gain an extra ability that usually does something more when they're stealthed. Like backstab is the iconic one, but you also got things like the immobilize from the number 1 on the short bow in stealth, stuff like that. Like this is one where, and to top it off, you can't. Let's see. No, that's part of the defense. Never mind. I was about to say your opponent can't see you, but that's what stealth is.
Right.
But this is the one where I see people being a bit more irritated from a balance standpoint in the fact that they can't see their target, B they don't know what their thief is doing, they can't counter what that thief is doing because they can't see them, and C they know that the thief is gaining some extra trick, or depending on certain builds, several extra tricks, because of that mechanic. And while to me it's not a big issue because I understand how squishy a thief is, and I still kill thieves fairly reliably even if they're doing stealth. I understand why people would be up in arms about it, and don't get me wrong, I have been killed and irritated by perma-stealth thieves. In fact, just last week it happened to me, same thing. But basically, yeah, I can understand why people would be angry over just the stealth mechanic in general. It's why people aren't a fan of PU Mesmers either.
Dear God. Oh yeah. That's on a whole. Honestly, I would fight a perma-stealth thief over PU Mesmer any day of the week. Honestly, I would. It's not granted that they abuse the same mechanic, but just the amount of benefit gained from one compared to the other is significant.
Yeah.
So.
But again, these mechanics, with the current balance of things, they're not so other than Pistol Whip, obviously, but other than that, like for the most part, they're still fairly balanced. Like thieves can still take if a good thief it takes anyone on, if provided the other person doesn't have a hard counter to the thief, that thief is probably gonna win. But at the same time, if that thief either plays poorly or if the person is well prepared, has something to counter either of those kits, then the thief can lose, no problem. To me, like, thieves don't feel overpowered or underpowered. They feel pretty balanced as far as I'm concerned. Now,
in some respects, yeah.
In some respects, yeah. Like, I should probably say one of my criteria for judging balance is how readily what is the kill to death ratio of me versus that profession. I understand warriors are overtuned at the moment, so it's not exactly a fair objective.
Overtuned.
Yeah.
Sorry, I like when you say that.
We're overtuned with overpowered builds. That's how I look at it. But I understand that my class's own balance situation isn't exactly the best for doing a litmus test on this stuff. But even still, in the past, I've I played Warrior since launch. I remember how it was being underpowered. So it's, to me, they don't feel like they're too strong, but at the same time, they don't feel like they're too weak. But again, I am not an expert thief. I would call myself a mediocre thief at best. Like, my own build it's high burst, get in, assassinate, get out type of gameplay, and it's not one trick pony, but it doesn't work in all situations. But basically, yeah, my take on it is they're in a good spot, but they have things that could be tweaked.
I agree. I'm not disagreeing. I completely see what you mean. They have some of the more annoying builds, you know what I mean, that I don't find to be too strong as long as you know exactly what you're doing. However, if you by chance, again, if you're not prepared and you don't watch out for the tells, then you're going to get hurt pretty badly.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like, thieves, they do have tells, despite what a lot of people may claim otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
They do have
Pistol Whip's
tells.
a big one, too. I mean, you can see that coming. It's very simple to see. Granted, if you don't, react appropriately, it's going to hurt, obviously. But the problem that I kind of feel with that skill, in a sense, is that even if you react properly to a Pistol Whip spam, you can't capitalize on their mistake.
Yeah.
Because of the evade frames. And that's sort of a little bit of the issue, where if I consistently dodge your Pistol Whip, I can't, punish you for it because you're just going to evade all my shit.
Yep.
That's my problem.
Yep. It's like it doesn't have that trade-off that, say, Backbreaker does or that Killshot does, where it's a giant tail. You can see it. You can counterplay it, but the thing is, with Backbreaker, you dodge it, that's a gigantic cooldown and a gigantic source of CC that you just avoided. Now the warrior has to wait for it. Killshot, same deal. That's a gigantic source of damage that just whiffed right by you, and that warrior's going to have to wait for it to come back up, and they just blew all of their adrenaline on it too. It's there. You know what the drawback is, and you can capitalize on it, like you were saying. Whereas with Pistol Whip, you can't. Like, you can see it, you can dodge it, but you can't do anything to them while they're standing there because they evade everything. It's
the risk versus reward is just not there.
Yeah,
there's not much risk. There's a lot of reward to it. Yes, you can avoid it, but there's no risk.
It's
and
all
that's
reward,
my problem.
Very little risk. And that's why Pistol Whip builds are a thing, and that's why they're getting shaved down a bit. Now let's see. I suppose if there isn't anything else, like, just kind of overall balance wise that you wanted to talk about, we could go over like what we like about the builds we use.
Well, just there's one thing that I hope gets addressed, but this needs to be done very carefully, is stealth in general. Because right now there's no counter to stealth. I mean, Rangers have... that's not even a counter, because no Ranger that I know takes that skill. Okay, so there's no counter to stealth. You know what I mean? When it happens, you are given free reign to do whatever you want to your opponent, and it's very difficult for them to hit you back. Aside from spamming tons of AoE on yourself, and a smart thief will just watch you do it and then wait. But there needs to be some sort of counter. Like, the biggest thing that I find is that, say for instance, I'm fighting a thief, he stealths, and I'm like, okay, I have no idea when he's coming. I have not the slightest fucking clue, but he's coming, so he's probably behind me. I pop my Aegis, just before he backstabs me and I block it. I think he should be revealed for making the effort, but the damage being negated because I blocked it. You shouldn't just be able to remove my Aegis and then attack me again. That's not right. Absolutely not. There needs to be something done with that. But it needs to be done carefully, or else you're going to make the thief very underpowered.
Yeah. That is something that I agree with, but that also brings up another kind of an overarching thing that it bothers me on a certain level, but at the same time, it's not at the forefront of like, oh, this is a major flaw and whatnot. It's one of those things that I would like to see changed, but it's not at the top of my list of things that I think need to be changed. It's in the game there are a lot of hand-holding mechanics. Like that one, that's a perfect example of it, where stealth isn't removed on block or on miss or whatever. Warrior is another one that benefits massively from one of these hand-holding mechanics. We don't lose our adrenaline if we whiff a burst, other than kill shot and combustive shot. always hits, so it's you're not really whipping it. But if I'm a beneficiary of this handling mechanic. Don't get me wrong, but I would be perfectly happy to not have it if it meant a bit more skillful play. Because like right now, if I use Earthshaker and either I'm blinded or I just don't hit anything with it, I don't lose my adrenaline. I've still got full adrenaline, and I can turn around and use that 7.5 seconds later or whatever. I use this to my advantage when I have to run from Zergs in World of World. Don't get me wrong. It's nice to have, but if I didn't have it, but it meant I need to play better, I'd be perfectly fine with that. It means more skillful play, and I'm of the same mind with the whole stealth being revealed thing. It's not being able to see the thief who has made the mistake of hitting you with your block up and allowing them to basically double tap you to get rid of both your defensive boost and then still gain that stealth advantage. That it's helping the thief too much. Just like the adrenaline thing is helping the warrior too much. There are a few other hand-holding mechanics that I can't think of off the top of my head, but the thief and the warrior one.
Well, it's a big one.
Yeah, those are the two big ones that come to my head when I think of hand-holding mechanics. So yeah, I agree with you that does need to be changed, but again, like you said, it needs to be changed in a way that doesn't break the thief, because
that's to be done very carefully.
Yeah, very careful. Like that's
yeah.
It's so core to combat for thieves that it's like you tweak that, you change that mechanic, even the slightest wrong ways can completely shatter the profession.
Yeah, they won't be able to do anything. That's the problem. That's why shaving.
Yeah,
shaving is a perfect example of how it should be done in that respect.
Yeah,
that's a because other skills can be sort of whiffed in a way, while still maintaining that class's integrity. But you can't do that with stealth on a thief. That needs to be pretty much near perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, yes, it's a thing, but it's don't know what to do because it's so delicate.
Indeed. But that's the only thing I was thinking about from a balance standpoint is just that.
Okay.
All
right. Well then, yeah, with the last we got probably about 10-15 minutes. We can just kind of go over what builds we use on our thieves and why we enjoy them so much.
That's gonna be bad, dude.
Well, yeah, it's thief talk, and we're not experts. We're just kind of saying what the fun we've had with them and what makes the profession fun to us and what build, the whole shtick. We're not experts. It's for entertainment. But yeah, I guess, do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
No, you can go first.
All right. Okay. Well, I use the build that was actually popularized by Cade, who is one of the bigger PvP players in North America. I know you're familiar with him, Arken.
I know him. We've dueled quite a few times.
Yeah. He and I have actually run into each other in World of World a few times as well, and he's completely destroyed me. But one of the things I really like about this build, I've tweaked it. I don't use Hide and Shadows like he does. I actually use Withdraw because I like mobility.
All right.
In fact, that's one of the things that I really like about the build. It's really mobile in combat, and to an extent outside of combat. I can be zipping all over the place, like running circles around my opponent, doing a bunch of damage to them. They're getting confused and whatnot. Granted, I'm super squishy, so if they know what they're doing, or they have a friend with them, or they have something, if they know how to counter me, they can drop me like that. Because I'm
yeah, you're done.
Yeah,
one right hit,
Yeah,
and you're pretty much gone.
Yeah,
unless you have some sort of stun break, or just something. But you're looking at some pain.
Yeah, because I'm by no means a good thief. I consider myself average with an experienced just PvP player in general behind it, and it's one of those things where I like it because it's challenging, where I have to play really well to get the reward of the kill, and if I fuck up at all, I'm dead. It's that whole high risk assassin, it's like taking what my warrior is, but bringing it up to the next level, like really high risk reward ratio, and I really like that. And just the gameplay of it, being able to teleport to my opponent, stab them, then withdraw backwards, do a short bow evade back, drop a point. It's so dynamic. It
is nice, actually. I'm with you on the whole huge risk builds, dude. I run one with my where we roll. I love that. It's so much fun.
Yeah. For me, it's a combination of the risk reward, the mobility, and just you can't ignore the damage. I mean, being able to do the giant chunks of damage to your opponent is a lot of fun. It's my warrior, but yeah, it's my warrior, but like up the next level. I mean, my warrior does a lot of damage, but this is a lot.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't know why my video is stuttering. I know there are
It's
people.
fine. Well, a little bit. But it's all right.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's the video itself. It's not my connection or anything. I'm actually gonna pause it so it doesn't. Oh wait, I see. There we go. That might help it. I moved it a bit.
Did you?
All right.
Nice.
Yep. But yeah, just the movement, the damage, and the high risk reward of the build is a lot of fun to me. I don't know why. Here, I'll just bump it back a bit.
That's fine.
All right, and yeah, I guess throw it at you for now.
Well, honestly, I don't play Thief outside of like SPVP for fun. The build that I run obviously is just the biggest troll build I've ever run in my life. This build is not meant to be serious. I've played it many times. It is my pistol, short bow, thief build. It is ridiculously stupid, and what I mean by that is, if I don't get focused in a fight, you know, like say I'm solo queuing, I don't get focused, I just decimate people with unload. Now don't understand this. It takes a lot of skill to constantly tap number 3 on my keyboard. Okay, it takes a lot. Okay, but it's just something I've been messing around with. It's not. But as soon as I get focused by anybody, I'm dead because I have no mobility. But that's just the way it is. It's not a big deal. So I mean, it's fine.
Yeah, it's one of those ones where it's okay. You have. I mean, yeah, you're doing the whole mash 3 to win thing, just like all the Heartseeker heroes out there. But you still have to put some thought into, okay, I need to position myself where I'm out of the way. I need to make sure that it's hard for the opponent to get to me. You need to put forethought into where you're fighting before you can mash that 3 and get all the deeps. Like,
absolutely.
It's not just a brainless 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2
Mine
win.
is.
Well,
mine is, dude.
Well, when you're in position, then it gets brainless.
Of course.
But before that, you gotta put a little bit of thinking before you dump your brain down the drain. Yeah, it's like I understand the fun of unload. Like when I first leveled the thief and I wasn't even serious about playing it all. I'm just like, oh, glory tomes, let's dump them all into the thief. And I just had I had a dagger pistol build, and I just loved unload because you just sit there and you just
like that, just like that.
Yeah, you just unload into someone, and it's a lot of fun just watching your character just throw bullets everywhere. And like I completely understand why unload is so much fun and why you would just want to mash that button over and over and over. And I've seen you use that build. You do indeed decimate people.
It hurts so much.
Whoa, I went too far back. That's on my measurement. I don't know why the video is stuttering, but either way,
it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't want random stutters in the video because it is
right.
We're still streaming technically, although it is a podcast.
Yeah.
I need to figure out a way to just splice the audio from this and just put it as like find a download site so people can download it as an MP3. But either way, yeah, like I know the fun of unload. It's good stuff.
No, but the thief itself is just not for me, and that's fine. But the only time I ever really go on that profession is if I see something that I have hard time fighting, and I try to figure out, oh, okay, this is how this skill works. Now I know what to do the next time I see it. That's really the only time I ever play any other profession, is just to see like what exactly did this person just do to me, and how can I react to it next time. Now, granted, sometimes if I feel like if I want to be trolly, I'll just do pistol for fun. But it's still pretty funny.
Yeah. I use the thief as kind of an alternate flavor to roaming, as kind of like I love my warrior to death. I love playing my warrior, but sometimes it's like I kind of want a different flavor of killing people. So I jump on the thief and I roam around with I'm super glassy, but at the same time, I can kill people a lot quicker. I can do it in a much more ninja-like manner. I can jump all over the place. I can be very, very mobile. Like the in combat mobility of a thief compared to a warrior is just astronomical.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
It's
oh my god.
ridiculous. Like warriors can move around all over the place and whatnot, but when we're fighting, we have to walk to you or we have to throw ourselves at you. We can't just all of a sudden be in your face. That's what I like about Thief is I can be right in your face the next second. It's like, oh hi, I'm stabbing you right now. I was just back there before. Oh hey, I'm back over there now. What are you gonna do about it?
It's true. It really is.
It's the damage plus kind of the trolling nature plus the high risk reward. It's a lot of fun. Like I've told people before that I wouldn't really know what my main would be if it wasn't warrior or whatever. And then after playing the Thief a fair amount, that reminded me, oh yeah, I actually really like the way the Thief works and how it plays. Thief would be my main if it wasn't warrior.
Right.
And I just like the combat. I'm someone who likes being up close and personal, but also having like retreat options or having defensive options. And Thief really appeals to that desire for that playstyle.
Oh, absolutely. Again, it's a very slippery class. Is how I look at it. Very slippery, very hard to deal with, especially with someone who knows what they're doing. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Very painful to fight against someone who knows what the hell they're doing. That's the thing, and that's fine too. You should definitely be rewarded, if you know how to play your class very well. So that's fine.
Yeah. And I'd say thieves are definitely one of those ones, aside from, like pistol whip builds, where the skill of the player behind the profession does show. It truly shows. Because I have fought many a bad and an average thief, and I have wiped the floor with them. But as soon as I run to a good thief, I know they're a good thief because they wiped the floor with me.
That's when you know. It's like, okay, got to step up my game, practice more, realize what had happened during the whole situation, and learn from it hopefully, and then just keep going. That's it.
Yep.
Just like that.
If anything, good thief players will expose the one weakness that Healing Signet has, which is, yeah, it's overtuned. Yeah, it heals for a lot, and yeah, warriors take advantage with dodging mobility, but it's still vulnerable to burst. If you take half your health and damage, and then take it again in the next 2 seconds, Healing Signet's not going to recover that.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Oh yeah.
All right.
Oh man.
I think we've just about hit the
mark,
the 1 hour mark. So, are there any final thoughts you want to say on either the feature patch or thieves or something random? What do you think?
No, I can't wait to see something that hopefully switches the meta up, man. We've been stuck in this meta for so freaking long, and just some new flavor would do. Something, something good.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting. I've been optimistic this whole time, and it's slowly but surely turning into pessimism, and I don't want that to happen. So hopefully we get something good. What about?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm. Oh, were you gonna say something or?
No, go ahead, please.
Yeah, I'm always very optimistic about the game. Like I just like playing the game so much that I haven't really had anything that would jade me towards hating it at all. I mean, yeah, I have gripes in some cases, and yeah, I have criticisms, but overall, I'm very, very satisfied with the game. So I'm still very optimistic about it, and things like this feature patch coming up only reinforce that optimism. I really hope that they take the few gripes that I do have and they address those, like not balancing as aggressively or well, they've already addressed the whole kind of like not listening type thing because they've shown they're listening. That's for sure. But yeah, mainly the balancing more aggressively thing. If they can address that, yeah, one of my biggest gripes will be gone.
There you go.
But yeah, do you since we're both here, do you kind of want to decide what profession we want to do next? Because we're not leaning on guests anymore, or do you want to just kind of discuss that later? I'm open to whatever. Because
we could do it now. Yeah.
Okay.
What haven't we gone over? We got warrior, guardian, thief, engineer. We're left with just a couple more.
Yep. We just got mesmer, necro, Ellie, and
Ranger.
Ranger.
Okay. Honestly, either one's fine by me. I can. You have anything that you're leaning towards?
I was kind of leaning towards Mesmer because that's the only other profession that I've gotten to 80 that I feel comfortable fighting as. I mean, I have an 80 Ellie, but I do not feel comfortable fighting as my Ellie. Nowhere near yet. So, like, Mesmer next. Otherwise, I could practice more on my Ellie. That would be perfectly fine by me. We could do that next. Or the Necro and the Ranger, they're both still in their 20s. So I have very little experience playing either of those. Are there any you're leaning towards?
No, I'm fine with either one, honestly. It doesn't really matter to me. I'll take either one, dude.
All right.
Doesn't bother me even in the slightest.
All right. Then yeah, I guess we could do Mesmer next.
Let's do it.
All right.
Hell yeah, absolutely.
And then since we're not leaning on guests anymore, we can start pumping this up more often. So what do you think? Maybe another Sunday podcast, maybe a Saturday podcast. I suppose
one of the two is fine.
Yeah,
I
suppose.
Go
The scheduling thing we can work out off the podcast, but yeah, try a name for maybe this weekend or something soon.
Okay, sounds. Hey, whatever you want to do, I'm all for it. So, any day, I'll give you whichever day I'm off. If you choose to do, like say this weekend or next weekend, I'll let you know.
All right, yeah. Then yeah, I'll just confirm with you off the podcast, and we can hopefully start getting these things going more often. Because then once we get through all the professions, then we can start really focusing on like what are the current happenings or what's the big thing in the meta right now or stuff we've seen, that type of thing.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that is pretty much going to wrap up this podcast, this episode 4. Any parting words, Arken?
No, just good to keep going over this stuff and good to seeing people. Hopefully this game gets much better over the course of time. This game's got so much ridiculous potential, and I would hate to see it go to waste. So let it keep rolling.
Yep, let it roll. All right, that's going to be it for us, guys. Thanks to everyone who's been hanging out in the chat room. This isn't one of my normal streams, so I haven't been interactive at all because it's not the point of this one. This is a podcast. I'm going to see if I can start getting the audio stuff for these somewhere and then put them on a download site so people can download the podcasts in the form they should be in, which is audio file. So I'll see if I can get that going for people, and yeah, hopefully we'll give people that option to listen to the podcasts as they are typically known. But yeah,
there you go.
But yeah, thanks again for hanging out, Arken. It's always fun to talk with you. Glad we finally got this one going after so long.
Hopefully it won't happen again that way.
Yeah.
That'll be fine. I'm not worried about it.
Yeah.
Not worried.
We've done some changes. We got to fix this going. So, all right. Take care, everyone, and we will see you again soon. Take care.
See you, dude.